Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is September 18th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. It shows that upper level low off the coastline quite nicely. And as you scroll through the afternoon and evening hours, you can see those thunderstorms on the coastal range, Sierra Nevada up into southern Oregon. And we're going to repeat this here over the next few days as well. Then we're going to drop that deep trough across some of Northern California and through Nevada. We'll take a look at that in some detail here as well. But if we look out across Alaska, currently, you can see that energy that'll be eventually moving down across the west coast into Northern California and Nevada. Kind of interesting look at the things there as this moves right across Kodiak Island as we speak. Now, looking at the visible satellite imagery, you can see some moisture made it into the valley areas. This might be a recurring theme over the next few days. Southern California, something similar there as well. Fairly deep marine layer up and down the coastline. Could even ring out some drizzle or light rain as well, especially the upper level low, kind of bringing some onshore flow with it. And you can see that lower moisture moving around the valley here. And this is Bakersfield. You can see the visibility did get down to 5 miles here this morning, but the ceiling generally around 5,000 feet. So this was not dense fog at the surface. We're looking at Los Angeles sounding here at cross section. So you can kind of see that the drop in temperature as you go towards the surface here. And that's kind of marking that marine layer fairly deep. You can see some of the afternoons warm up here, but the inversion still present. A pretty persistent marine layer here over the next several days. And as we go into Thursday, you can kind of see it become saturated here a little bit more. It brings some onshore flow here, a moist layer, bringing some clouds and maybe that light drizzle here across some of the areas. So I thought I'd show you that as we scroll all the way through the weekend there. Now, this I showed yesterday as well. This is Reno National Weather Service talking about goodbye summer, welcome fall, much cooler temperatures. You're going to feel it when this low moves across the area, and some stronger winds and maybe even some snow for the higher terrain. This is mountain thunderstorms, kind of a repeat here, what we had the last few days and the next couple days coming up all the way through 8 p.m. Typical thunderstorm hazards does not include Sacramento, Stockton, or Modesto there, but does include Redding and Chico and some of the higher terrain across California and through Nevada. This is this state in SoCal weather history. Check it out. Some pretty good rains here as a tropical storm made landfall in Baja there. And in 1985, a strong thunderstorm along the north shore of the Salton Sea produced a tornado that was on the ground for 2 minutes. Heavy rains with the storm washed out several roadways. Very nice. Cooler days are on the way. Las Vegas National Weather Service, check it out. You're going to feel that change here as that low pressure system moves by, dropping down into the low 80s there from the mid 90s. Sneaker waves, Eureka, California. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service. Eureka, deadly sneaker waves and hazardous surf. You know, we start to get some of these bigger waves. A nice storm across the Gulf of Alaska can spread some of that swell down to the south. So heads up for that. Nice graphic there. Day 1 thunderstorm outlook. Day 2 and day 3. That risk goes on in through Wednesday here across a lot of the Sierra Nevada. Then the upper level low will start to make its way into the area. Here we go. Total precipitation on the European model. And you can see some of that precip here along the coastline. This might be in the form of some drizzle out there. Nothing too crazy though. But you can see the upper level lows. We start to drop down towards Thursday and Friday. You can see it drop down across the area here. And some of the higher peaks could get some decent moisture out of this, but not a big widespread flooding event or anything of that nature. Just kind of a chilly upper level low. It's not unheard of for this time of year. Now looking at the GFS, this is cyclonic relative vorticity, upper level low spinning off the coastline here. Kicks inland here, and then you can see that next upper level low drag down across the area here. And we're going to scroll out a little bit further in there, 060, because it's got a fun fantasy forecast through the extended. But you can see that kick off to the east here as we go through the weekend. And then the GFS at times has been showing some subtropical moisture moving back up over the region here. But I'll show you the 12Z as well. It keeps flipping back and forth, and the ensembles do not have good agreement with that feature there. Now watch as we go way off into the extended forecast. Always something fun to look at in the extended GFS. Look at this monster dropping down across California here. This would bring widespread precipitation, believe it or not, but do not get your hopes up just yet. We got a long way to go before that would gain any confidence. Taking a look at 2-meter temperature anomalies. So this is what you're going to feel here as we go through. Look at Thursday afternoon. Some of these temperatures 25 plus degrees below normal across some of the, especially the higher terrain of California, all the way down through Southern California as well. You're going to feel that pattern change coming up here as you go through later this week. And then finally we start to return to normal as we start to go way off into the forecast here, but we'll worry about that later. And this is total snow 10-to-1 ratio on the European as of last night. And you can see some of those peaks looking like north of Lake Tahoe here, picking up maybe 6+ inches there, if you believe that, across some of the higher terrain of southern Oregon, Sierra Nevada here. So interesting. It's always fun to watch the first flakes of the season come, even if it's just for the highest peaks. This is last night's European run, 06Z. 500 millibar heights. There's our upper level low hanging out. You can't miss the bowling ball coming down across California and Nevada here. Maybe some tropical moisture, tongue twister there, moving into the region here, and then that deeper trough setting up off the Pacific Northwest, and then you can see the Fantasyland one form right there and drop down the California coastline. Purely a novelty right now, just something fun to watch. Entertainment only at this point. Now, right now we're looking at the 06Z, so I want to show you this and then show you the 12Z run here. So what we're looking at is precipitable water, percent of normal. There goes that subtropical moisture, and you can see it actually brings some of that into Southern California here. It would kick off some thunderstorms if this verified, especially across the Sierra Nevada, and you'd feel that bump in the relative humidity here. Kind of an atmospheric river feature moving into the Pacific Northwest there as we go on in through later portions of the weekend and early next week. But again, this is just one run of the GFS. Then comes that big trough off into Fantasyland here, dropping down across California and spinning over the top of us. But yeah, anyway, we'll worry about that later. Just purely fantasy at this point. Now, this is looking at the 0Z European. What we want to check out here is that tropical system potentially developing here. How far does its moisture get off to the north and east? You can see a little bit of it training towards Baja here, but for the most part, it does not even reach Southern California. Maybe clips portions of Arizona and New Mexico there. Kind of an atmospheric river feature moving into British Columbia there as well. But yeah, and not showing too much of that subtropical moisture getting into the region. This is looking at the 12Z GFS. This is precipitation in inches. You can see the afternoon thunderstorms ongoing across the higher terrain here. And we go into the Thursday, upper level low, drops down across the area. Again, not a lot of precipitation to work with. Some of the higher elevations could get some nice amounts. And the further you go off northeast towards Wyoming and Montana there. But you can see it doesn't bring that subtropical moisture back up into the area there. The 06Z did show a bit coming in there, and the ensemble agreement is not good for that. But check it out. There goes that atmospheric river into the Pacific Northwest. Maybe clips Northern California there. And how far are we out? 237 hours. Let's refresh that, see if we have any additional data. We do. Is there any hint of that system coming later on? Not too much here yet, but we're not able to scroll out too far in that forecast. But anything past 10 days is pretty much worthless in a deterministic GFS run anyway. So this is looking at 24-hour precipitation here, and this is the 06Z. And what I want to show you here is that subtropical moisture. You can kind of see it move up over the region here, but again, that was taken away in the 12Z run there. But just there's still a little bit of chance here that we're going to watch for that subtropical moisture over the next few days. And you can see that chance at cyclone formation over the next 7 days. You know, we talked about this a couple days in advance of the Hurricane Center actually putting out this graphic here, but you can see it is 90% here for some kind of tropical system to develop there off to the southwest of Baja. Truckee, Tahoe, California, check it out. And Reno, pretty much same thing here. You can see these temperatures dropping off pretty well by the time you go into Thursday. Big change here. You might drop by 20 degrees here between Wednesday and Thursday, then the slow climb as that low starts to eject off to the east. This is Palm Springs. You'll even feel it a little bit in the atmosphere there. Maybe just a little bit of the heat removal and some of the, you know, you can see it here. Maybe some of the overnight lows here, you'll notice a little bit of a dip in the temperatures, but nothing too crazy. And it's not like you're going to get a bunch of precip out of the system either. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can see the below average signal here. And again, this is looking a little bit further out here. This is the 23rd to the 27th. A little bit below average signal here across some of the southwest. And then you can see some of this atmospheric river activity or systems that's troughing off the west coast try to move back into the area here. So they could clip some of California. We'll watch that, you know, as we go day at a time. And this is 24-hour precipitation of the Redding. You can kind of see that trough moving through here, but it's not a big precipitation signal there for Redding, California. But off into the future, maybe we'll get some kind of Pacific system back in here. No promises. Oakland, maybe a little bit of drizzle showing up there. And then, you know, very light rain here as we go through the extended, but we have plenty of time to look at that and watch it. This is 500 millibar heights. You can clearly see Lake Tahoe with that upper level low moving down across the area. And then the 5,850 millibar temperatures are shown here. And this is Lake Tahoe snowfall. So again, kind of a novelty here, but you can see generally less than an inch is expected here. And, you know, it's just kind of fun to watch the first snowflakes of the season roll into the area. And this is Reno. Maybe you'll even see some snowflakes flying there at the airport as we bring this trough down across the area. And you can see the afternoon highs kind of peaking up here, that warmth at the surface, and then you can see that upper level low start to arrive as we go through the day. Thursday, Las Vegas, you can see it kind of in the upper levels there, just kind of dampening the temperatures, knocking them down a little bit there as you go on into the end of the week. Palm Springs, you can see that little bump there, maybe just knocking down the highs a bit. This is Los Angeles. Check out the relative humidity cross section here. You can kind of see that persistent marine layer fairly deep as we go all the way towards Thursday afternoon would be the very end of this run here. San Francisco, not quite as deep here, but still you can see persistent marine layer here all the way towards Thursday as well. San Diego. There you go. And once the Santa Anas start blowing, if they do at some point this fall, you'll notice this just go away really quickly. If you live in Southern California or any place along the coastline, the Santa Anas blow, you know just how dry those winds can be. And you can really flip this marine layer around and get some very dry air out to the coastal regions. But otherwise, a lot of times you're dealing with this marine layer along the immediate coast. Meadowsfield, Bakersfield, you can see you've got some of that moisture going to be moving in during the overnight and morning hours, and this is the little afternoon hour bumps here with the relative humidity increases with that afternoon warming. But for the most part, you can kind of see some of that moisture could be making its way into some of the valley areas as well. But anyway, yeah. Thunderstorms over the next few days, upper level low, still on track to come. Watching for that slight chance, a little subtropical moisture to move in after that. And then we'll start turning our eyes onto fantasy storms later on through September and October. Looks like they'll be impacting the Pacific Northwest with increased confidence here. But do they have any chance to move down to California? Something we'll be watching here over the next few days. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. The El Nino video, I might hold off until the 21st. I know I'm a dirty, rotten liar. I keep saying it's coming out soon. But there's going to be a long-range forecast is going to be released at the 21st as well. I'd like to incorporate some of that data also, and it gives me a little bit of time to polish up the video also. So yeah, anyway, so throw me a line here on the comments and click like, subscribe, and we will do this again tomorrow in the regular briefing, and I will talk to you guys later.